Chemical bonding is the force that holds two or more atoms together in a molecular compound. Atoms can bond with each other to become more stable and achieve a lower energy state. Bonds are formed because atoms tend to be more stable when they have a full outermost electron shell. Atoms can gain or lose electrons to achieve this state, or they can share electrons with other atoms to fill their outermost shell. The resulting attractions between the positively charged nuclei and negatively charged electrons create a chemical bond. Type of chemical bond. The followings are the types of chemical bonds. Ionic bonds. An ionic bond is a type of chemical bond that is formed when electrons are transferred from one atom to another to form ions with opposite charges, which then attract each other due to electrostatic forces. Ionic bonds usually occur between a metal and a non-metal. In an ionic bond, the metal atom loses one or more electrons to become a positively charged ion, while the non-metal atom gains one or more electrons to become a negatively charged ion. For example, consider the formation of an ionic compound between sodium and chlorine. Sodium has one valence electron in its outermost energy level, and it is energetically favorable for it to lose this electron to achieve a stable electron configuration. Chlorine, on the other hand, has 7 valence electrons and requires one more electron to fill its outermost energy level. When sodium loses one electron to chlorine, both atoms achieve stable electron configurations and become ions. Na++E sodium loses one electron to become a positively charged ion. Cl+E Cl chlorine gains one electron to become a negatively charged ion. The resulting ions, Na+ and Cl, are attracted to each other due to their opposite charges and form an ionic bond. The compound formed by this bond is sodium chloride, NaCl, which is a white crystalline solid that dissolves in water to form a salty solution. Other examples of ionic compounds include magnesium oxide, MgO, calcium chloride, KCl2, and potassium iodide, Ke. Covalent bonds. A covalent bond is a type of chemical bond that is formed when two or more atoms share electrons to achieve a stable electron configuration. Covalent bonds typically occur between two or more nonmetals. There are two main types of covalent bonds: polar covalent bonds and nonpolar covalent bonds. Polar covalent bonds occur when atoms share electrons unequally, resulting in a bond with a partial positive charge and a partial negative charge. This is due to differences in electronegativity, or the ability of an atom to attract electrons towards itself. The greater the electronegativity difference between two atoms, the more polar the covalent bond between them. For example, consider the covalent bond between hydrogen and chlorine in hydrogen chloride, HCl. The electronegativity of chlorine, 3.16, is much higher than that of hydrogen, 2.20, so chlorine attracts the shared electrons more strongly. As a result, the electrons in the HCl bond are shifted towards the chlorine atom, creating a partial negative charge on the chlorine and a partial positive charge on the hydrogen. Nonpolar covalent bonds occur when atoms share electrons equally, resulting in a bond with no partial charges. This occurs when the atoms involved have similar or identical electronegativities. For example, consider the covalent bond between two hydrogen atoms in hydrogen gas, H2. Both hydrogen atoms have the same electronegativity, 2.20, so they share their electrons equally in the bond. On the basis of the number of covalent bonds have three types. Single, double, and triple covalent bonds refer to the number of electron pairs that are shared between two atoms in a covalent bond. A single covalent bond involves the sharing of one electron pair between two atoms. This is the most common type of covalent bond, and it is typically found between two nonmetals. For example, the bond between the two hydrogen atoms in H2 is a single covalent bond. A double covalent bond involves the sharing of two electron pairs between two atoms. This occurs when two atoms share two pairs of electrons to achieve a stable electron configuration. Double bonds are typically found in molecules that have a central atom that is bonded to two or more other atoms. For example, the bond between the carbon and oxygen atoms in carbon dioxide, CO2, is a double covalent bond. A triple covalent bond involves the sharing of 3 electron pairs between 2 atoms. This occurs when 2 atoms share 3 pairs of electrons to achieve a stable electron configuration. Triple bonds are rare, and they are typically found in molecules that have a central atom that is bonded to only one other atom. For example, the bond between the nitrogen atoms in nitrogen gas, N2, is a triple covalent bond. In general, the strength of a covalent bond increases as the number of electron pairs that are shared between 2 atoms increases. This is because the shared electrons are held more tightly by the nuclei of the 2 atoms, resulting in a stronger bond. There is also a special kind of covalent bond known as a coordinate covalent bond. A coordinate covalent bond, also known as a dative bond, is a type of covalent bond in which both electrons in the shared pair come from the same atom. This atom donates both electrons to form the bond, while the other atom does not contribute any electrons. Coordinate covalent bonds are typically found in molecules that have an atom with a lone pair of electrons that can be used to form the bond. For example, in the ammonium ion, NH4+, the nitrogen atom has a lone pair of electrons. The lone pair can be used to form a coordinate covalent bond with a hydrogen ion, H+, which has no electrons to share. In this reaction, the nitrogen atom donates its lone pair of electrons to the hydrogen ion, forming a coordinate covalent bond between the nitrogen and the hydrogen. The resulting molecule, NH4+, is called the ammonium ion. In summary, a coordinate covalent bond is a type of covalent bond in which both electrons in the shared pair come from the same atom. These bonds are typically found in molecules that have an atom with a lone pair of electrons that can be used to form the bond, or in complex ions where a central metal ion is bonded to surrounding ligands through coordinated covalent bonds. Metallic bond. A metallic bond is a type of chemical bond that occurs between atoms of metallic elements. It is a type of bonding that is specific to metals and is responsible for the unique properties of metals, such as high thermal and electrical conductivity, malleability, and ductility. In a metallic bond, the valence electrons of metal atoms are shared between all the atoms in the metal, creating a sea of delocalized electrons that are free to move throughout the metal.